Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Anthony. That's what you have. That's what you
Yeah, I
have.
have huge. They're right on the side of my head.
Wow. So how many club tattoos did you end up getting?
Boy, the one on my forearm, which was the original, the two on the side of my head, one on my hand, and then above both eyebrows.
Wow, that's commitment, man.
Yeah, and I got them all like within the first so many years of being in the club.
What were people saying to you when you guys did that?
Well, at first it was like I remember there were a lot of members like when I was getting these ones done because I did them at a run. It was one of the it was like the it was like a mixture of like our South and our USA because we didn't have a USA that year because of COVID. So I ended up getting these in a hotel room, like a day or two before we were actually leaving the run from one of the brothers. I got them done both back to back. And I come out and there was one brother, he'd been in the club, probably at least 5, 10 years. He's like, bro, you realize like a lot of guys, like they just would sit me down. One guy would always sit me down and be like, you realize, like the average lifespan of Hell's Angels is only like 3.5 years. A lot of guys like, you know what I mean, get kicked out or leave or whatever under 5 years.
But you're thinking, I'm gonna stay in this for life, right?
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I was all for it. You know what I
You're
mean? I didn't think
committed.
I could. I
You're
was
committed.
committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was all about it. You know what I mean? Like I did a ton of traveling when I was in the club. You know what I mean? I was in California a lot. I went down south. I was in the Midwest. I mean, I didn't have a passport, so I couldn't go overseas, which I would have loved to have done, but I never got that opportunity.
So do you have any situations when you were out on your travels that happened that maybe stand out to you?
Uh, I would say California a lot. I mean, I California and down south. Like I got really close. I was really close with a lot of brothers down in like South Carolina, southern part of the states, and then out west. Like I mean, I just it came on me. You know what I mean? Like being born out there. You know what I mean? It was almost like I got a draw out there. You know what I mean? It was just they were
Yeah.
more laid back. They were chill.
So California is a different animal, right?
Yeah, a way different animal. It's like I mean the brothers out there are like laid back, like you know what I mean. They're chill. They're like things are a little bit slower in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's not as fast paced as the East Coast,
Yeah.
but they were just very welcoming. You know what I mean?
Do you see any fights when you're in the club and traveling around?
I guess you could say you see them every once in a while. Like not to talk too much about stuff.
Did you get into any fights?
Oh yeah, I had I mean, because as Hell's Angel, you know what I mean? Like you can't let anybody disrespect you, even your fellow brothers, you know what I mean? If a brother gets loud with you or whatever, or he's just disrespectful in any way, I mean, you gotta handle your business, you know what I mean? Like so you handle it and you say, hey, let's go, and and it's old school, you know what I mean? It's like no, there's no weapons, there's no what I mean? There's no weapons, no brains, nothing. You know what I mean? It's literally like a typical old fashioned fucking bare knuckle boxing match, basically. You know what I
I mean,
mean? And
that's cool though, right?
yeah, other brothers, you know what I mean? They make sure it doesn't get out of hand. You know what I mean? If you end up falling down, they make sure everybody gets up and it's back to, going at it.
I mean, settle your differences in a positive
Exactly.
manner.
Right. 100%. You know what I mean? Brother disrespect you, you tell them, all right, let's fucking go. And you go until either somebody quits or somebody gets knocked the fuck out.
And you guys are both you shake each other's hand and you move on.
Afterwards,
right?
you shake, you hug, and that's it. It's done issue.
Now, do you find that people are testing you at bars and things?
Oh yeah, people get a little pushy, especially once they get that liquid courage in them. You know what I mean? A lot of Hell's Angels don't really drink too much, just because, like, you know what I mean. You got to be on your game. You never know when somebody might walk into the bar from the other side or something. You know, so you got to be ready. But yeah, people size you up and go, oh, I could take him out. Or he ain't that bad, or it's that liquid courage, though. You know what I mean? Like people get a little too tipsy. They don't think right.
Have you been out and got caught up by the other side?
I've had my fair share of run-ins, like being on the bike riding or whatever, and then I've seen the other side occasionally here and there, but I've never actually like I never got my chance to get my filthy few, I guess you could say.
I mean, you being from Vermont and then you going out
New
to
Hampshire.
California or New Hampshire, there's different politics and
Yeah.
different
Well, there's different bigger
enemies, you would
clubs.
say, right?
Yeah.
Different bigger
Yeah.
clubs that aren't over here, or maybe
Right.
they are now. I don't know, but you don't see them type of people out here. So you go to
Right.
California, all of a sudden you got your enemies with these people, and you don't even know them.
Right. I didn't really see too much of the other side. I mean, I don't know whether it was just quiet when I was out there or what, but yeah, I never really had too many run-ins with the other side.
No. What about funerals? How many funerals have you been to as a member?
I lost count, man. I've been to way too many funerals.
Can you walk me
Really can't.
through?
I really couldn't. I really couldn't tell you how many, to be honest. I did so much traveling, and it was either a funeral or a party or a meeting that I was
More
going to
more
when I
than
was
10.
traveling.
More than 10?
More than 10, yeah.
Can you walk me through what it's like to be at a Hell's Angel funeral?
It's I mean, I as much as like I don't enjoy like having to bury someone and say goodbye to someone, I enjoyed going to the funerals just because of like the camaraderie, like all the brothers coming together and like I mean, like if I didn't know the brother, I would still go, and like I would learn about that brother while I was there from his brothers and other brothers that were close to him, being especially as a new member. I mean, I probably went to at least 3 or 4 of my first years of Hell's Angels, you know what I mean?
First
And
year?
first year, yeah.
In all kinds of ways that they died, right?
Yeah, all kind of natural ways, not natural ways, like, you know, accidents, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. A lot of probably more accidents, like maybe not more accidents, like more like it was kind of 50-50, like accidents and like natural causes.
Or the other side getting them, right? Was there a
I didn't go
lot of
to
funerals
didn't go
that
to
way?
too many. I didn't go to too many of those actually. I don't know if I went to any of those to be honest. While I was in the club, there wasn't a lot of. There was a little bit of that stuff going on, but not a lot of that stuff going on when I was in the years I was in the club. You know what I mean?
What year did you become a Hell's Angel?
November of 2019.
Wow, so it was not that long ago, basically, right?
Right. Yeah.
So how long were you in the support club for?
I was prospecting for 9.5 months, and I was a member for 8 months. And then I was a Hell's Angel prospect for a year and 2 weeks. And then I was a member for about 4.5 years.
I mean, you were right in that 5-year range, right?
Yeah.
But you never thought you would ever leave this club.
No, I was committed. I was 100% all for it. You know what I mean? Like I loved it, you know.
Was there any signs where you were maybe thinking, maybe this isn't for me?
Well, I think more of like I was trying to go somewhere else. Like the Northeast wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I had brothers that I was like cool with, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of like like I didn't click a lot with my guys, I guess you could say. Like I did, but I didn't. You know what I mean? There were some guys in my charter that weren't exactly my biggest fan. You know what I mean? And then there was that I was cool with, or at least I thought I was cool with. You know what I mean? And then towards the end there, I really was if trying. Oh, I really was trying to go somewhere else. I was trying to transfer to another charter where I was closer with guys, and it was a different, mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that type of stuff happens everywhere, right?
Yeah, it does. It can. You know what I mean? Like, but it just seemed more like I was always under like scrutiny, I guess you could say, in my charter.
Like, what, always getting in trouble, or they'd single you out for things?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, didn't like that I was loud. Didn't like that I was, say, on the internet or posting things on the internet or, having all the patches I would have on my vest. Because at one point I had like rockers all over my vest, you know what I mean? And I was getting the tattoos and stuff, and It just didn't agree with a lot of the guys in my charter. And then I honestly, I think there was jealousy there, to be honest, like because of the relationships I had out west versus on the East Coast of my charter.
Did you ever think about transferring out west?
That's what I was in the process of doing that before I got kicked out.
Oh, so eventually they end up kicking you out.
Yeah,
We'll get
I
to
didn't
that.
leave. I didn't leave on good terms.
Yeah, we'll get to that. When you're out on runs and things, what about crashes? Was there a lot of crashes?
You know, you had your fair share every once in a while, like idiots that don't know how to ride, you know, and like the sport clubs, or that's really what it was. You had guys that really just couldn't ride the way we were riding. You know what I mean? And they'd end up causing an accident.
And how do they ride out in New Hampshire, the Hells Angels?
Well, I mean, they ride similar to everywhere else, except, you know what I mean? Obviously, in the Northeast, splitting lanes isn't legal like it is out west, you know. But, you know, again, I got I ride hard and fast and would just ride wild regardless. You know what I mean? I just once I started riding, you know what I mean? I just got a hang of it, and then that was it. It was balls to the walls all the time. And then I got a hint of splitting lanes when I went out west, and then that was it. My whole riding style changed completely altogether, and it was all to a whole new level again. You know what I mean? Like even more. But and I would do that. I brought that out here, and I would do that out here mainly when I'm by myself because you know a lot of. I mean, it seems like a lot of brothers are. I don't know whether it's they don't want to get in trouble or they don't want to cause attention or something. They don't ride say the way they do out west. You know, out west there's charters out west, man. They don't give a f- they just you know what I mean. They live the 1% life and they ride like they don't you know what I mean. That's how it is. They are 1%ers. They don't give they don't follow the laws and the rules, whatever. We ride the way we want to ride, and ain't nobody gonna tell us otherwise. And then here on the East Coast, it's not completely like that.
They got to watch out for the police because they're another question I have is the police. How were the police after you started getting involved with these clubs? Were they ever messing with you?
All the time. I mean, I remember I was riding reckless on my bike one time, or they call it reckless. I was just riding, you know what I mean? And I got hit with a reckless conduct on my bike because they said I was running from them. I never saw them, and I was just splitting lanes and going 100 plus on the highway and trying to make it to an appointment. And then it finally, as I was going to, you know, get off of one highway to get on another, that's when I saw the blues and I went to pull over and they pulled guns on me.
You're like, what the?
I was just riding
in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what happens?
They pulled their guns on me and they called backup and I got arrested for reckless.
And they probably put your picture all over the newspaper, right?
No, I never made it in the newspaper. I mean, I'm sure I made it on to like maybe like their website or something, but it wasn't like crazy, you know what I mean? Like not like people make out to be like in TV, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do the police follow you guys around and stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean you see more of the feds really. You know the feds are there, they're watching all the time, especially big runs. And they don't even hide it at big runs. They make it nonchalant. They're sitting there with tripods and everything, taking pictures.